Welcome back to another instalment of the Global Sporting Colour and Voice Newspaper Sports Magazine show. I'm here with Rodney Hines. No Michael Facey this week.
No Michael Facey.
He's away. He's on reconnaissance.
Good word.
Yes, doing good works down under. We'll let him bring you the story next week or the week after. In due course.
Yeah.
You might have noticed again. Like I said, we're away from home.
Yeah.
We're in a new ground, a big ground, a famous ground, an iconic.
The home of football.
Home of football. And before we even give away where we are, I want to say special thanks to the FA for having us.
Without question.
For putting on.
And our man Danny Lynch that always looks after
Danny Lynch always looks after us.
Team.
Continued growth, Danny. More power.
Absolutely.
Good luck with everything you're doing, and thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Big shout out to Danny.
Yeah, definitely. It's important that The Voice pays homage to the FA because Rodney and I were on the road in 2006, 2007. Before this place was built, rebuilt, I should say. Before that famous arch was put in.
I don't know. Did you ever get to the other one?
I did.
Yeah.
Not as a journalist, though.
Not as a journalist. Yeah,
no.
I did that, and to be here, fantastic. Wembley Stadium. You mentioned Wembley anywhere in the world, and whether people like their football or not, they know what we're talking about.
They know where it is. That's for sure. Right. Before we continue with the theme of football, because we've got a lot of football to talk about. This weekend sees the Masters, golf, Augusta. It's one of the tournaments that actually is the tournament that got me into golf, and I have to talk about it because there's no Tiger Woods.
No,
he's injured.
There won't ever be a Tiger Woods.
No,
trust me.
Don't say that.
No,
Woods. Don't say that.
Take it. He's out of the equation.
No,
I'm telling
you
you.
can't
I've told
say
people.
that. You know, he's going to come back one day.
He's not going to do a Federer.
You can't say that.
No,
Never say that. Well, he's not here this week. That's for sure. That much we do know. And I'm a bit disappointed because he's the guy that got me into golf. He's the man whose achievements in, 96, 97, when was it, all those years ago, really captured my imagination. You know, I sat down there with, what was a record global audience, we know that now, TV audience, and I watched him walk out on, the final day and beat, I forget who it was now, Mr. Kite or Mr. Knight, whoever it was, by 12 shots, literally blew everyone away, and that's what really kind of got me into golf, and I've been with it ever since. This year, I'm not sure who's going to win anything. It's a bit of a mix.
So what you're talking about is the opening major of the season, right? At the Augusta National. And you're absolutely right about Tiger. Made golf sexy for our community. Made golf sexy for everybody, I think, the way that he played it. You heard it from me here. It's not going to happen for him anymore. But anyway, who's going to win it? I tend to find with these majors is that you've got your bigger names, your Phil Mickelsons of this world, the Zach Johnsons of this world, and then somebody comes through the pack that you've never heard of. Could be the case again this weekend. I'm going to stick a little bit of money on Ricky Fowler, however.
You're going on Ricky Fowler?
Yeah, because Ricky Fowler, American, so it's home turf. Always dressed in very bright colours. What will he have? I look forward to watching Ricky most times because he's always in something orange or something lime green, which isn't the norm with a lot of these very sober gentlemen.
Quite conservative, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go for Ricky Fowler. I don't know what the odds are, but on what is a fantastic sporting weekend, and as we're going to talk about it, what's a fantastic sporting weekend, I'm going to stick him down.
Okay, all right. I'm looking at Dustin Johnson.
I can see why he would do that.
I mean, he's the favourite. Comes in with a bit of form. He's already won a major this year. He's already won the US Open, I should say.
Jordan Spieth, I think we talked about.
That's who I'm going to put my money on. Obviously, you remember what happened last year with Jordan, the famous 12th hole. It was a meltdown. Do you know what I mean?
Like a bottle. That's a football term. We're at Wembley. We can say that now.
Particular hole has broken many a golfer. So he was unlucky to capitulate in the way that he did, and I just think he's going to come back fighting this year. Jason Day. It's funny we talk about. Tiger Woods and the impact he had on me and black and minority ethnic potential golfers all over the world. But Jason Day said something earlier in the press conference about the fact that he plays golf for two reasons: Tiger Woods and Augusta. Yes. And I thought that was
that's nice.
Pretty big of
it. What I also find interesting, the Ricky Fowlers of this world, the McIlroys of this world, the Spieths of this world. And when they've won majors, as they all have done, apart from Ricky, people have gone on to say the next Tiger Woods. They haven't even got close. No. And what that does, it underpins exactly how great Tiger Woods has been. McIlroy came onto the scene, and we pay homage to him because he's won titles, but he hasn't been able to go on and dominate You know, so Tiger, while I'm saying I don't think you'll ever see him again, will clearly go down in the record books along with the Nicholsons of this world and the Palmers and the Gary players.
No, I agree, and we can't rule out Danny Willett as well. Obviously, 2016 champion.
Can't.
Tees off at 5:24 British Standard Mean Time. So if you're around, look out for that. That's the big one this weekend. Before we move on to the Premier League games that you're going to kind of pick out and have a look at, I want to talk about the fact that the England's women's squad got selected this week, and there was no Eniola Aluko, which has kind of caused some ruction. She's had a lot to say about it in the media, and rightly so, I think. But I wasn't sure if her argument of favouritism was the right way to go, because she's got 100 and odd caps, hasn't she? And I mean, she's quite an experienced pro. She's been favoured in the past,
at the end of the day, she'll also know the temperature. She'll know what happens in that dressing room. She'll know what happens around the squad. She may be correct, or you might have had a player who's hurting quite clearly. Habit. I'm used to being in the squad over the last X amount of years. As you said, over 100 caps. We saw her at the blacklist, didn't we?
She won an award.
She won an award. Brother was there, Sonny Aluko, doing his thing there for Fulham, and hope they get certainly into the championship.
Is it a kick up the butt? Because I think he selected his squad really early. There's no need to select it this early.
I don't even know if you need to give a player of 102 caps a kick up the butt. But what I would say, maybe she needs to pick up the phone and speak to a Wayne Rooney. There are countless high-profile players who have scored goals, who have got caps, who have been sidelined. It's the nature of the beast.
You know what though? I think that he's cut off his nose to spite his face, because for me, that's the kind of experienced player you need in a tournament, you know, such as the one they're about to embark on. So I'm not quite sure what the motivation is for not keeping her in.
I understand what you're saying, but I can understand that. You know, we've recently had Jermaine Defoe come back to the England squad, and if he does make it to 2018 in Russia, while he may not start, maybe, as you said, might be good to have around the dressing room for the young strikers, the Rashfords of this world, if they make it. Listen, Samson and Eniola will know exactly what's going on. Other players may know as well. It may not come out. Right now, I read the quotes like you did, and she sounds like a very upset young lady. I can understand that. It's a passionate game. She wants to go. She clearly believes she still has something to offer.
She's amongst the best in the league.
Manager, however, whether it be in industry or in sport, is paid and will live and die by those decisions.
Well, I hope he doesn't die. I hope he lives.
Let's hope he lives.
But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a strange one for me, and I understand why she's come out the way that she has. I hope that she's included by the time that the squad gets to compete. And that's not necessarily hoping someone gets injured, but I just hope the right decisions are made.
I'm thinking Mark Sampson, if we sat down with him, and it'd be lovely to do that one day, might say, listen, while Ellie's done what she's done, she is not the future as I see it, and I have to trust and give other players a chance, just as Ellie was given a chance as well. But it's going to run and run for a little while.
All right. Moving on, Rods. What you got for us this weekend? Premier League wise?
Premier League. Tottenham Watford is the lunchtime game.
12:30 kickoff. I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there. Listen, you've got to pay respect to what Tottenham are doing. In any other season, a little bit like last year, any other season you take Leicester City out, Tottenham are champions. I know they didn't finish second in the end, but that was a problem of their own making, I believe. This year, they've been almost seamless. Missed their goal scorer, Harry Kane, for 10, 15, almost half a season. Still scoring goals, still winning.
Still keeping clean sheets?
Still keeping clean sheets. Mauricio Pochettino, the manager down there, is doing a fantastic job. Right now, if you said, and we'll talk about the Grand National later on, which Premier League horse is coming through and looks like they'll sustain a good challenge, it has to be Tottenham. 2 successive seasons. And I know, listen, most people would say you've got to do it a little bit longer than that, but it's a highly competitive league.
Well, you've got to do it.
You've got to do it.
Simple as that. And you've got to continue. I mean, a lot of teams were looking to perform better than they did last season, this season. I mean, they'll make their own assessment on whether they've achieved that goal. But for me, the fact that Tottenham have been able to sustain this title challenge, find themselves in a similar position to where they were last year, looking stronger, looking better for the experience.
And you haven't said it yet. You still believe.
I still believe.
We had Palace upset Chelsea last weekend, didn't we?
Which I didn't believe.
And I called that one.
You did indeed. Credit to you. Hat off.
I called it, as I said, it wasn't based on form. It was just a feeling inside.
And sometimes that's what it is.
And that made the gap a little bit smaller. 7 points. I think the Chelsea thing is still in their hands. Tottenham and the challenges need to be almost perfect and wait for another slip up of that nature. But I think what's happening at Tottenham, new stadium coming, big players signed to long contracts, manager looks like he's not going anywhere, even though that Spanish thing is always going to be in the background. I like what's happening at Tottenham.
Listen, I agree with you. I think it's a good thing.
And I believe that, bearing in mind what's happening at Arsenal, 7 miles down the road, what do they say at Buckingham Palace? Changing of the guard, potentially.
Well, we'll see.
And that happens in sport.
It does. I think a lot of the Arsenal fans are a bit premature with the whole Arsene Wenger thing. I understand that he's probably got to the end of his tenure, but I think that if you want to transition smoothly, if he wants to make sure his legacy is intact by the time he leaves the club, it's about overseeing that changing of the guard, that handing of the baton to the next person. And we all know he's going to be involved in that process. So just now we know it's going to happen. Let's let it happen, innit? What other games you got for us?
2 other games I want to quickly talk through. Not quite a relegation 6-pointer, but West Ham have to entertain Swansea. We know things are not good at West Ham. Swansea under Paul Clement have been on a little bit of a rise.
Playing well.
Should they go to the London Stadium on Saturday at 3 and win, West Ham will have something to think about. But more importantly, Swansea will be battling for their lives, and it's a real struggle down there. I still think the 3 that will go down will be Sunderland, Middlesbrough and Hull. So the north of England is struggling right now. So West Ham, Swansea and John Porch of the Voice of Sport will be at that one, London Stadium. And then Monday night, you know we have these extended weekends, don't we? Monday night we have Crystal Palace against the Arsenal.
Big game.
Now, we talked about Palace putting one over Chelsea. It's not a given for Arsenal. Trust me right now. Big Sam has in the past got the number of Arsene Wenger, hasn't he?
I think he said he's still that well.
Yeah, so it's Monday Night Football. It could be another horror show for Gooner fans. I'll probably call that one as a draw. Probably see Swansea going there and upsetting West Ham. And I fully expect Tottenham to take 3 points against Watford.
Yeah, I expect Tottenham to set the tone for the weekend, so we'll see. You touched on it a little bit earlier on, Grand National weekend, 40 riders. I mean, I was speaking to a contact of mine earlier in the week and he was like, listen, there are 8 jockeys that could win it, potentially 30 odd race, 30 odd horses that are in the mix. Your thoughts?
I've been watching the Grand National from the age of 6 or 7, not knowing what's going on, but it always excites me. I've never had the pleasure of attending it. I've been to the Grand National meeting and I've seen horses go over those famous fences, but there's something special. You don't need to be an aficionado to get involved on Saturday. One thing I would say, it seems to be getting later and later, and TV must be dictating this. 5:15 on Saturday. Got a couple of horses. You'd expect nothing less of me.
Of course.
Cause of Causes.
All right.
Pleasant Company. More of that, and the Young Master.
I heard a lot about more of that.
Yeah, those would be my 4. I might bump that up with another 2 between now and Saturday. Listen, the great thing about the Grand National is all 4 of those could fall.
That's right. In the first
Cause of Causes falls, and the other 3 come tumbling down. I think what we love about the Grand National, it always provides a story.
It's the unpredictability of it.
Whether it be a story of woe or a story of someone that faced a major illness and battled back just to ride in this race. We had Bob Champion on Aldenite many years ago, diagnosed with cancer, went through grief, came back and rode the winning horse. So 5:15 on Saturday. I certainly for one will be involved in that, and I look forward to it. Anything could happen and probably will, but there's always a little bit of magic about Aintree.
Definitely. I mean, it's a full-on packed sports weekend as usual. Got the Grand Prix. We're in Shanghai. Got Lewis Hamilton. He's got to get back into winning ways. I say back into winning ways. It's only the second race of the season. But there was a meme that went about last week with Nico Rosberg, and he said, "Did Ferrari win?" And at the bottom it says, "That didn't happen with me." So it's like shots fired.
But Nico can do that from distance now.
Well, I don't even know if it was him. I'm not saying
we're not saying it was him, but whoever can do that.
But the point was made that Ferrari are back in the mix.
They are.
We're going to see if they are yet to assert themselves in
there's an awful long way to go in this season. Lewis like Vettel would love to have won the first race. It sets down the marker.
Sets the tone, doesn't
but if it is a case of Vettel and Hamilton for the rest of the season, I won't miss a race, because I tell you what, we got world champions. How many world titles they got there? 7 between them.
Best of the last decade.
Lewis is hurting because he believed he should have won it last year, and the fact that he lost it to his teammate probably put salt in the wounds. Vettel's been away for a little while, and as I said, those rants on the radio in previous seasons have been generally based on frustration. Let them go for it. It should be fantastic. I'd expect Lewis to be in the centre of the winners' podium on Sunday.
We'll definitely learn a lot from practice and obviously qualifiers beforehand. But like you, I expect Lewis to be in the mix. He likes it up there. Mercedes like it up there. Be an interesting race before they roll into Russia. No doubt we'll be talking about that as well.
No doubt.
Before we close this week's show, I want to talk a little bit about the 10k karate competition that takes place at the Troxy in East London.
East London,
on the 16th of April. It's not yet sold
Easter
out.
Saturday.
That's right. If you've not got your tickets already, go and get
yourself
them.
Sorted.
They're selling out fast, and it's going to be a great occasion because it's the richest prize in karate sport.
Read about it in last week's Voice.
And there you go. And it hasn't taken place for over 10 years. And with the karate being accepted back into the Olympics for 2020, it's a great platform for national and up and coming martial artists to get involved. So if you haven't heard about it, don't know about it, watch this documentary, this short documentary. There are 4 other parts available on the voice-online.co.uk.
That's the one.
Tune into those. It's very, very informative, and let us know your thoughts.
It's over, and Wayne is the daddy. Wayne's the daddy, and he's still got it.
Without trying to sound too biased though, when you look at history and the first ever 10k challenge, it almost seems fitting that it's Wayne Otto, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. He deserves it. Look at him. And it's just a shame that karate wasn't in the Commonwealths and the Olympics, because that's the one thing Wayne would have loved, was an Olympic medal.
It's like going back to how it used to be in the British Championships. You only had one winner. There was no categories. That's what I'm saying. Everything can get lost. Oh, he's a champion, but he's under 60 kilos champion. He's under 65. This is the one winner, and it's proved that it's not always a heavyweight that wins it. I mean, I can remember the Paul Newby and Rory Daniels fight. It was a brilliant fight. Newby was, tremendous in it. And there's someone who's 6 foot plus, and it brings out the best in people. And I think this is why everybody loves it, because it's not this weight category. It's not this, oh well, you're part of that and I'm not really interested in that because that's not my weight category. Everybody's interested in the 10k because there's one winner.
The whole atmosphere regarding 10k was out of this world. It was like something. It was at the Mermaid Theatre, I believe, in Blackfriars. And as you walked in, you walked down into tiered seating, and there was one area. There was tables around. It was an evening event. People were hyped. I mean, is this really happening? Somebody's going to win 10 grand today. Now, not everybody else wanted to win, but I needed to win.
Wayne, as you said, retired 2 years ago, come out for this. Realistically, can he still take this?
Well, we've just been to Iran, and he fought there, and he fought very well. And then he goes through his ritual. And Wayne is a fighter, and he wants this. And he wants not just the money, he wants to show people he can still do it. At the moment, everyone's talking about him, and he's just got to do the job and not think he's got to do something for the crowd. Let that just come naturally. There's a punch from Wayne and another punch.
I remember my first fight being a fighter that I grew up with, Winston Williams. It's not a fighter that had ever given me any bother in the past, but again, he's not someone that you would take for granted. And if you get caught sleeping, he will take you out. But I remember getting through that first round quite comfortably. The fighter that I was probably the more wary of than anybody else in the whole tournament was a fighter called Jason Legister. And I knew if there was anybody that was actually going to have a real chance of taking me out, actually it would be Jason. And as I thought the fight was really close, but I managed to get through that fight and win my pool. So having got through that fight, that was my first milestone. The second fight, quarter-final fight I had, was with a fight called Davin Pak. At the time he was, I think, world and European champion as well. By the time I'd got to Davin, I was knackered. I was really tired. You know, going through the rounds and the tension and everything was really hard. And I remember there were certain points in the fight where there was bouts of lapse of concentration. But again, digging deep and knowing what I know and using my experience and obviously, you know, tapping into the energy that I have in my reserves, I was able to come through that round. And the final was against Leon Walters. He is the one that I would have expected to come through on the other side. At the time, he would have been the biggest name in karate. Again, someone that I coach regular for the England squad, and so this is somebody that I know. But I wasn't so worried about Leon, to be honest. I already knew how to beat Leon, and I remember looking over to the other side and watching Leon pace up and down, pace up and down. He was like a tiger in a cage, waiting and rearing to get out there, you know. And I remember just standing calm. I was just standing there and just thinking, I got Leon. I got Leon. I know exactly what to do against him. And as long as I follow my game plan, I will have this. It's heartless, really, when you think about it, because you go through so many grueling rounds, piece by piece, getting to that point, and really, what does it come down to? One person walking away with everything, and the other person, nothing. I mean, that's it. That is it in a nutshell. And I suppose that also is what makes the tournament unique, in that it is so cutthroat. You do have to perform on that day, because if you're caught slipping, you're walking away with nothing, and you can go through all those rounds and get to the final and still walk away with nothing.
So I remember I was very young. I might have been about 7 years old, so I think I would have just started karate myself. But at that age, I'd never seen my dad fight, but I understood that he had a great reputation, and I understood that people looked at him as if he was, do you know what I mean, this big figure. And I think I was scared for him to tarnish that, to lose that. So I covered my eyes through every single one of his fights, just because I was afraid of him to lose. Not because I didn't believe he could win, but I was a child, and the thought of him losing was more scary to me. So I'd rather just not watch the fight, but not even by choice. So I remember when he stepped out to fight Jason, and Jason looked so angry. Like I remember thinking, like, Jason looked like he's gonna hurt my dad. But me and Jason had a good relationship at the time, but I don't understand the concept of being a competitor and professionalism, you know, so it all felt very like personal to me. I covered my eyes so quickly, but so I don't actually remember seeing any of his fights. I just remember after he's won, so him winning, you know, someone told me that he'd won, and I remember him, you know, shedding some tears. And I asked, you know, why is Dad crying? And he said, no, it's okay, they're happy tears. So, you know, I remember the environment, I remember the atmosphere, the crowd was huge, you know, so, yeah. I think I was browsing through Facebook, and I saw the post. I can't remember exactly what the post said, but the post said, you know, the 10K is back. At first, I didn't believe it. Then I got a phone call 5 minutes later, obviously from Jordan, and that's when it became more real. You know, that the idea of competing in 10Ks is a real possibility now, and something that is really coming around the corner. You know, but as I said, the whole thing it's exciting. You know, the scene's been missing something like this for so long. I feel like events like 10K have the potential to spark that again, because it's given everyone something new. You know, it's very beneficial for the scene. I'm happy it's back. In my head, when I envision 10K as well, I don't envision an easy path. Do you know what I mean? I don't envision me cruising through rounds and then I get to a final. In my mind, I'm taking like everyone, like every single big name you can think of, first, second, third, fourth, because even when I think about my dad's 10K, that's how we did it. I remember he had Jason, Davin, Leon, like back to back. So in my head, you know, I'm taking out everyone. I know it's not going to be an easy day, but I believe on my day, can definitely do it.
Hope you like that.
Yeah,
It's,
good stuff.
Yeah,
good
very,
stuff.
very
I'm gonna
informative.
try and get down there myself.
Yeah, no,
actually,
definitely.
yeah.
Congratulations to Joe Long and MMA Plus Media for putting that together. Like I said, the other 4 parts are online. Before we close the show, I just want to say special thanks to the FA once again.
Without doubt. Danny Lynch and all associated with the FA.
We'll be back here next week.
This is at home for the next month.
Yeah, that's right. Some big games coming up here.
Listen,
FA Cup.
we've got the FA Cup semi-finals. Right. We'll be sitting next to each other as Chelsea play Tottenham. Ooh. And then Arsenal play Man City. I tell you, I wouldn't miss it for the world. We've got Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko.
Later on in the month.
The following week. So, listen, Wembley's the place to be, without question.
Definitely. See you guys soon. Make sure you follow us on all our platforms. Download the app. All of that. Speak soon.
Definitely.